Good afternoon, everyone. This
Good
is
afternoon,
lecture
sir.
number 6. How are you doing? Everyone great? Tell me what we were discussing in the last class. I hope you remember it. What we discussed
Yes,
in the
sir.
last class. What?
Obtain a formula roughly, empirical formula.
We were dealing with finding out the empirical or the rough or a possible formula, and the next use or the last use was to express a physical quantity in terms of any other physical quantities or any new system that we create. And I told you that to create a new system, if you are creating a new system of three fundamental quantities, ML and T must be there present at least once, and these quantities must not be dependent on each other. We remember this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we will proceed and we will try to solve some question based on this. Remember, no matter how I frame the question, no matter what the use is, we always have to do the same thing. And the same thing is we just have to equate the dimension on left hand side with the dimension on the
Dimension on right hand
right
side.
hand side. This is what we have done in this entire chapter, and this is what we will keep on doing no matter how the question is there. You just have to do the same thing. And same question came in JEE of this year. I'll show you that question as well. Thing is, today my laptop and everything has given me so trouble that it becomes very difficult for me, and that is the reason. There was no light at my place, so I had to shift my classroom as well. That is the reason. I will find out that question and we will solve that question as well. Don't worry.
Okay,
Right
sir.
now, let me look at the question which we are supposed to solve first. To use dimension analysis in a new system, if you create a new system. And remember, if the options are given to you, I think there was a question last day we did where we had this option, and using that option we were not able to actually find out the actual value because there were five unknowns there, but we can find out the possible option by looking at the option, right? So let us now
Yes.
try and do a question, and we will not do much questions on this because this is exactly the same as what we had discussed. So let me just put you one question, and here it comes. If velocity v, force F, and energy E are taken as fundamental units, what is the dimensional formula for mass? I hope you can see this question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now remember, questions can be framed in variety of ways. Whatever the question is, we have to do the same thing. So I hope you can do this question for me. Right. So I'll give you
Yes, sir.
2 minutes. I'll keep my mouth shut for 2 minutes, and I hope that you can solve this one for me. Options are given to tell me which option is correct. Remember, one question is going to come from this chapter, no matter which exam you appear in.
Sir, option A.
Option A, you got the answer as well. Well done.
Yes.
I am pretty happy if you got the answer. Option A. And option A and option D are similar, right? So there was a Mistake in printing. Option A is absolutely correct. Well done. So the question was framed in this way. How are we supposed to do this? Everyone knows this? Tell me. Tell me how are we supposed to do this? So on the left hand side, what will I write? I will write M, which is mass. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Dimensionally, it will be equal to V raised to the power
V
alpha. Yeah, X, whatever.
4
F raised to the power
F
beta.
raised to power beta E raised to power gamma.
Then I will replace them by their dimensions, right? This is M. L is 0. T is 0.
T power 0
LT minus 1
L T power minus 1
raised to the
ML T power minus 2 power beta
ML T raised to the
T
power
power
minus
minus
2 times beta, I mean raised to the power beta. Energy is M L
L
square.
square T power minus gamma. It's 2 gamma.
Now you will have to equate the dimensions of or the coefficients of M on the left hand side to the right hand side, L on the left hand side or the right hand side, and
Right hand side.
T on the left hand side and the right hand side. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is the actual method of doing it. But since you have the option in front of you, what you can do is look at the option, look at the dimensions of the option, see, you can easily raise them to the power of 2 and 0 and square, and then you can find out with which option you are getting the dimension of mass that might give you the answer quickly. Do you understand what I am saying, bacha?
Yes, sir.
Because in solving this, you might have to solve alpha, beta, and gamma. You may not get the direct values of alpha, beta, and gamma. So the shortcut is to look at the option, because looking at the option and raising them to their powers would be faster to get the answer. Do you understand what I'm saying, bacha?
Yes, sir.
So how did you get the answer? Did you get the answer from the shortcut method by looking at the option, or did you do the long cut method by the actual method?
We
Which method?
solved, sir.
Okay, well done. If you are solving it, that is the best part so that you understand how this would be done. Just to give you an example without the option so that you understand how to do it without the option, here is a question that I'm going to give you. Quickly solve it and give me the answer for this one. And it's a similar question. Something has changed. If velocity v, force F, and time t are taken as fundamental quantities, we can obviously take these three as fundamental quantities, because from force and time we cannot get velocity. From velocity and force we cannot get time, so we can use this as fundamental system. F, M, and A cannot be used. Express mass, that is the first question. Express mass. And the second question is energy in terms of V, F, and T. Now here you don't have the liberty, you don't have the luxury of the options. You cannot look at the option and tell me which option is correct. So this will give you a practice of how to do it exactly. I'll give you 2 minutes, and I hope you can solve the question on your own. Do you need any help, bacha? Or you will be able to do it? It's an easy question. The only thing is the calculation part may be a bit complex, but I hope you can do it. Shall I help you out, bacha? Yes or no? Shall I help you out, bacha? I can't see my kids in trouble. Can I help you? Okay. Shall I? Okay. So, how you got to solve it? Let us look at mass. M.
Sir, we got alpha, beta, gamma values, sir.
Tell me, so how is mass in terms of FPHT? How are you going to write mass in terms of FPHT? Tell me your answer. Tell me, no answer is right, no answer is wrong. Tell me.
You explain, sir.
Why? So, what is so tough here? So, I write it as P raised to the power alpha, F raised to the power beta,
F to T raised to power gamma.
P raised to the power gamma. I now equate the thing. M is 1, L is 0,
0
T is
T
0,
is 0,
L
L T power minus 1,
the
alpha,
power of alpha,
M L T power minus 2 beta, power beta, T power gamma.
Just equate the coefficients of M, L and T. Let us start with M. M. So what is the coefficient of M, bacha? For M, what are you getting? On the left hand side we have 1. On the right hand side we have beta. Yes or no?
Sir, we got the values, sir. Beta is 1, alpha is -1, and gamma is 1.
So basically, so you can just then tell me the answer. Then sir, M is b raised to the power -1, f raised to the power 1, t raised to the power 1. This is the answer you got?
Yes,
Yes
sir.
or no? And that is the correct answer. Everyone got this answer? Please raise your hands. Everyone got this?
Yes, sir.
Why did it take so much of time? Remember, beta, sometimes the original way of doing the question, I've told you the original way, right? And every time you can do it by the original way. But sometimes if you use, and I always keep on telling you that JEE Main is 100% a test of your speed, JEE Advanced is 70% a test of your speed. You have to do it quickly. Now, see, you have to get the dimension of mass. Now, you have to be smart, beta, right? I am not smart, but you have to be smart. You have to be smart. You have to get the dimension of mass. Now, what I see here, now look at how I'm going to do this. This is the exact way. Nothing wrong with this way. I have told you this way. This is the right way. But how to get it quickly? I have to get mass. I see here force. I see here velocity and I see here time. And as soon as I see these three things, lightning strikes. And I understand F is equal to ma. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Acceleration is, we're talking only about dimensions here. M into V by T. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, see, the dimension of mass is T by V. That is the answer.
Okay.
See,
Yes, sir.
that doesn't mean that the original way is wrong. Original way is the right way, but you'll have to do it quickly. When do it quickly, that is where you will excel. Got it? That
Yes,
was
sir.
the dimension formula of mass, force into time divided by velocity, F raised to the power 1, D raised to the power 1, V raised to the power -1. Can you tell me what is energy then? Obviously, the original way will work. Nothing can stop it from not being solved by the original way. But can you do it fast? That is the concern that I am having. And I hope that you should be able to get me that answer.
Sir, for energy, V power 1, F power 1, T power 3.
E to the power 3.
No, sir. T power 1.
Yes. So again, how will I? This is for question A. For question B, what will I do? I will write energy E is equal to V raised to the power alpha, F raised to the power beta, T raised to the power gamma. And again, I will equate them, alpha, beta, and gamma. Value of alpha will come as 1, value of beta will come as 1, and value of gamma will also come as 1. But can I do it quickly? How? Apply some common sense. Energy is power multiplied by time. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Power is energy divided by time. Power is force multiplied by velocity. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
F, V, T. That is the answer. And how much time did I take? 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You also did the same question. You did it by the correct way. Yes. I told you that way. But I can't tell you this way because this is not a way. This is just I am using the knowledge that I am having of relation between the quantities, and that is how I am getting it. This is not a correct way of doing it, but yes, the faster way of doing it. Do we understand this? So if we have some knowledge about how this term is coming, we should be able to get the answer quickly. And the more quick you get the answer, the better you are going to fare in the exam. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now let me present to you the question I was talking about, and I hope you have seen this question before. Probably yes, probably no, I don't know. And this is the question. Think it comes on your screens now. Have you seen this question? In a particular system of units, a physical quantity can be expressed in terms of electrical charge, E, electronic mass, me, Planck's constant H, and Coulomb's constant K. Epsilon naught is the permittivity of vacuum. In terms of these physical quantities, the dimensions of magnetic field is e raised to the power alpha, m raised to the power beta, h raised to the power gamma, and k raised to the power delta. What is the value of alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta? Do you know? Have you seen this question? Have you seen this question? Where? Where? This is the same paper that you have appeared in this year's JEE Advance. As you can see, the question is exactly the same as the question that we did before. The only thing is, here, instead of 3, you have 4 quantities. And instead of MLT, 3 fundamental units, there is a 4th fundamental unit that is coming. That is the difference. Can you do it? Now, you can only do this question once you know the dimensions of electric charge, the dimensions of Planck's constant, because these are the things that we have not covered because these are not in mechanics. Dimensions of Planck's constant and dimensions of Coulomb constant. Do you know the dimension of these quantities? Well, if you know the dimensions, then only you can solve this question. Else you will take a lot of time to first calculate their dimensions and then solve it. You know the dimension of these quantities.
Yes, sir.
Then, sir, here is your chance, sir. Solve the question, sir. Remember, this is JEE Advanced 4-mark question. Integer type, I think. I'll give you 5 minutes to solve it. You think you can solve this now? So what you can do is take this as a homework. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Take it as homework. Think about it because you might take some time to think about the dimension. I want you to get the dimensions correctly. So if you find out the dimensions, you can find out the dimension, all these quantities that are there, and then just tell me the answer. Okay? Can do
Yes.
this for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll give this as a homework question for you, and I hope that you would be able to give me the answer. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, having said this, having put this as homework, let us now move forward. Just note down the question. I hope you are noting it down.
Sir, we did not receive any DPP, sir.
Yes, I'll find it out. I'll find it out. Don't
Okay,
worry.
sir.
I'll find it out. We forward to clarify whether the DPPs are there or not. I will find it out. So note down this question.
Done, sir.
Okay. Once you are done, let us write the next heading, the last heading, and then we will solve more questions, and we will wind up this chapter today. Okay. So for the next class, we will move on to mechanics. Note down this question.
Yes,
The
sir.
next heading is limitations of dimension analysis. Now remember, no one is going to ask you a direct question on limitation. What are the limitations of dimension analysis? No one is going to ask you that. But if we put it in the form of a question, which equation can be derived using dimension analysis? Question of that nature. So unless and until you understand what are the limitations, you will not be able to solve this question. Remember, they are not going to ask, tell me the first limitation which Elastic Sir said in the class of dimension analysis. That's not going to happen. Understand the concept and then try to apply it. What is the first limitation of dimension analysis? The first limitation, it does not give any information. So I write it in short, does not give any info, no info on whether the physical quantity is a scalar or it is a vector. Now, two quantities which have same dimensions, looking at their dimensions, cannot say whether which quantity is a scalar or which quantity is a vector. Torque, it's what type of quantity? It's a vector, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Energy is a scalar, but they have the same dimension.
Dimension
If I just know the dimension, I will not be able to find out whether the quantity
is
is
scalar or a vector.
scalar or vector. Again, the same thing. Yeah, I can write it in a different way. Two different physical quantities can have same dimension. Two different physical quantity can have same dimension, and therefore we cannot say from dimension that which physical quantity have we derived. We can't be sure of the physical quantity looking at the dimension. Again, same example, torque and energy and work, they have the same dimension. So if someone tells me ml square t minus 2, tell me which physical quantity am I talking about? I like, oh, I don't know. It could be energy, it could be work, it could be torque, I am not sure. So physical quantity is not unique. Two different physical quantities can have the same dimension,
Dimension.
right?
Yes, sir.
Dimension analysis does not give any information about dimensionless constants, dimensionless constants like numbers. For example, time period of a pendulum is k times root
K
over L
times
by
root
G.
L by G.
We cannot find out the value of this k. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
We cannot find out the value of this k. So dimension analysis cannot help us in finding out this value of k. This value of k can be anything. We don't know what is this value of k. Everyone understands these, and we are noting it down. Remember, they will not come. They will not come as direct questions, but they will come to us indirectly. Okay, dimension analysis can't be used to derive equations that have numbers, log, sine, or e to the power x. For example, if someone tells me that v is given as v naught into 1 plus e raised to the power minus b, I cannot derive this equation using dimension analysis. Or someone says pressure P is E naught log to the base of A by B. I cannot derive this equation using dimension analysis. Why I cannot derive this equation using dimension analysis? Because they have
Because
the,
they are constants.
yeah, I should not write here T. I can write it T by capital T to make it dimensionless. So I cannot derive these equations using dimension analysis because it has this log Wally term, and log Wally terms are dimensionless. Log is a number. I cannot derive these equations using dimension analysis, but I can check this equation using dimension analysis. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
I can check whether the dimensions are correct, but I cannot derive. Okay. Next, dimension analysis can't be used to derive equations having addition or subtraction. Can only be used for power function. I can use dimension analysis to check the correctness of an equation. But if the equation has addition, for example, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Now this equation has a plus sign coming in between. Do you see this? So I can check this equation whether it is correct or not dimensionally, but I cannot derive this equation because there is a plus sign coming in the equation. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So this equation which I have written here cannot be derived using dimensional analysis. I cannot derive. But yeah, if the equation is like this, f is equal to m square e cube b raised to the power minus 1. If it is in the form of a product or a power function, then I would be able to derive it. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
That equation which I've written on right hand side is not correct. I'm just showing it as an example. Do we understand this? Okay. The last but not the least, remember they will not be asked as a direct question. Last but not the least, in mechanics we have M, L, and T. These are the three fundamental units that we use in mechanics. The question that I gave you, JEE Advanced, that was having four fundamental units. No, we are not talking about that. In mechanics, which has ML and T as fundamental units, if a physical quantity depends on more than three physical quantities, it cannot be derived. Do we understand what I'm saying? Why it cannot be derived? Because we'll only have three equations, one equation for M, one equation for L, and one equation for T. I will only get three equations. I can solve for three unknowns. I cannot solve for four unknowns. Do we understand this? We had done a question also where we had four or five unknowns coming in the equation. Then I told you we cannot derive this, but since the options are given, we can check which option is correct. Do we get this? So this is all about the theory of dimension analysis. I've covered everything that is possible, every sort of question that is possible. I have covered. I'll give you 5 minutes to go through the entire thing. And once you are done, if you have any doubts, you ask. Else, I will give you some questions that we will solve in the class so that you should be able to solve any question that comes. 5 minutes I'll give you. Go through this entire chapter. Any doubt, ask me, then I'll give you question. Shall we go ahead? Shall we go ahead with some questions?
Yes, sir.
Here comes the first. Can pressure P, density rho, and velocity V be taken as fundamental quantities? Now try not to look back and try to solve it with the knowledge that you have. So, how will you check whether they cannot be taken as fundamental quantities or not? If they are dependent on each other, they cannot be taken. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, do you know relation between pressure, density, and velocity? Is there any relation between pressure, density, and velocity? There exists a relation between pressure, density, and velocity. Now, how do I know it? Because I've been teaching for 20 years. Do you know this? Okay. So, whenever you get caught in such a situation where probably don't know the relation between these quantities, there is a mathematical way of finding it out. That's purely maths. Now, how that method works? You know the dimensions of P. What are the dimensions of P? Tell me. P is pressure. You don't have to look for dimensions of pressure anywhere. You must know it is M, L minus 1, T minus 2. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Density rho,
M L power minus 3 T power 0.
velocity V,
M T power minus 1.
M to the power 0, L, T to
T
the
power
power
minus
minus.
1.
Now, how will you find out whether these three quantities are independent or dependent? Well, if you know the relation, you have practiced so much that you know the relation well and good. If you don't, what do? You look at the powers of M. What are the powers of M?
1,
Here it is 1, 1,
1, 0.
0. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
What are the powers of L?
Minus 1, minus 3, 1.
Minus 1, minus 3, 1. What are the powers of T?
Minus 2, 0, minus 1.
Minus 2, 0, and minus 1. Then you do this. Do you know what is this? Determinant.
Matrix.
Matrix, yes. 1, 1, 0. Minus 1, minus 3, 1. Minus 2, 0. Minus 1. Do you see what I have done here?
Yes.
Now, if the value of this determinant or matrice comes out to be 0, that means they are dependent on each other. You just find the value of this matrice or determinant, whatever you call it. If that comes
It
as
is
0,
0, sir.
that means they are dependent on each other. Since they are dependent on each other, they cannot be used as fundamental quantities. In fact, the relation between these quantities is like this. Dimensionally, P is equal to rho V square. You must remember this from Bernoulli's theorem, my dear friends. P plus half rho V square plus rho GH. They have the same dimensions. They have the same dimension. That means they are dependent on each other. See, life is short. The world is round. If you remember simple things, you would be able to find out the answers. Did you get this? Now,
Yes, sir.
so I've told you all possible ways in which the question can be asked. I've also told you all possible ways in which you can find out the answer. I'm doing this so that I tell you everything that I have learned in the past 15, 20 years. Now, the question that are going to come to you, they may be Single option, they may be multiple option. You will have to find out whether they are single or multiple. Here is the next one. Which of the following sets cannot enter into the list of fundamental quantities in any newly proposed system of units? Yes, my dear friends.
So option B and D.
Well done. Option B and option D. They cannot enter into any new system. Option B is the option that we just saw. Pressure, density, and velocity. They are related to each other. Force, momentum, and time. Rate of change of momentum. Momentum divided by time. Change in momentum divided by time is force. So B and D options all depend on each other and therefore they
Yes.
cannot form an isolated system. Do we understand this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Well done. You may not have to write the question, you just have to read the question, solve it, move ahead. Remember, these questions may not be single option correct. And I always say this to my kids, the most difficult questions in a JEE, and I'm talking about when I say JEE, I mean JEE Advanced, the most difficult questions in the JEE Advanced are the one which are multiple option correct.
Multi correct.
Yes. Here comes once more. If A and B are two physical quantities, look at the language of the question. A and B are two physical quantities having different dimensions. Then which of the following can denote a new physical quantity?
A, C, sir, option A and C.
Option A and C. What's wrong with B? Why is B not a new quantity?
Sir, what is EXP? It's exponential.
EXP means e raised to the power minus A by B.
Exponential.
Exponential function. So now, which of the following quantities can denote a new physical quantity? Yes, my dear friends. And you do not get 4 out of 4, you only get 2 or 3 out of 4 because one of the options, which is option D, is also correct. A by B raised to the power 4 can denote a different physical quantity, but my dear friends, this one cannot denote a new physical quantity because A and B are having different dimensions. So A and B will not be dimensionless. So e raised to the power something which has a dimension does not make any sense. So this expression is wrong. This expression is totally wrong. The other three expressions can denote a new physical
New
quantity. Do
system.
we understand this? Yes or
Yes,
no? No,
sir.
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So comes the next one, sir. Remember, there could be a question in multiple option correct, which only has one correct option. Remember that. Not always true that a multiple option will have multiple correct.
Okay, sir.
So the dimensions of a physical quantity are given by mx, ly, tz. Then the physical quantity may be, it's a simple one. So which is the correct option here?
A, C, and D, sir.
A, C, and D. Correct. B is pressure. For pressure, we should have y raised to the power of
Y
minus
power
1.
minus 1.
So you see, so this is how you should solve a question. Remember, the language would be difficult and different from what the normal question comes. Here comes the next one. The van der Waals equation for n moles of a real gas is given by this formula, where P is pressure, V is volume, T is temperature, R is the gas constant, A and B are van der Waals constant. Which of the following have the same dimensions as that of N, R, and T? Yes, my dear friends. Taking a lot of time?
We will do, sir, one more.
Okay. Or you can note this question down and take it as a homework, okay? Just write the van der Waals equation and write the options, and you can do it at home. Right? I'll send you the sheet as well. Sheet is already there. They have not given you probably. Just write the question. I'll give you one or two more questions that you can write, and you can do as homework. So you can write this one. Good question. Just write the van der Waals equation, right? I hope you know how to write the question in short, right?
Yes, sir.
Just write this van der Waals equation. Just write the van der Waals equation and just write the options. Which options are correct? That's it.
Done, sir.
Written?
No, sir, the question.
The question you have written, no?
Yes, sir.
Then write this one as well. Again, write it in short.
Sir, we wrote that question, sir.
So, comes the next one.
Okay.
A problem in Irodo. Have you heard about this book?
Yes, sir.
It's a very common problem from Irodo. The energy, potential energy is given in this form. A and B are constants. Find the dimensional formula A and B. It's very simple. If the time period of oscillation a student calculates is given by this, check whether it is dimensionally correct. So can you do this? Just write it in short. You want to do it? Just write it short because only 1 minute is left. I'll give you one more question. So energy, potential energy is given as A by x square minus B by x. So to find the dimensional formula for A and B and check whether the dimensional formula of time period is correct. Write this question. So I've given you 3 questions, 3 really good questions to solve at home. I'll be sending you a sheet as well. And I think if you can do the question of the sheet, that is more than enough that we will require for your JEE Main or advanced examination. Have you noted down this question, Mita?
1 minute, sir. Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. So try these questions at home, and meanwhile, I'll find out when you are going to get those sheets that I have sent you. Okay. Anyone
Okay.
having any doubt, please you can ask me now if you have any doubts regarding anything.
No, sir.
Okay, then I'll see you in the next class, and I hope that you get the sheets by the end of the day today so that you can solve it by tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Take care,
Thank
beta,
you, sir.
and
Thank
have
you,
a nice day,
sir.
beta. Bye.